Hello, everyone, fellow students. Welcome to our podcast, where we discuss the most notorious criminal cases in American history.
Dun, dun, dun.
Today, me and my friends will be talking about the infamous Zodiac killer. You know, he's one of the most famous killers of all time. His case is unsolved to this day. He's really a really grotesque, horrible person, you know. So, I'm your host, Sean the Great, and I'm joined by my fellow hosts, RB1 Corey and Zaddy Spence. Thank you, fellows, for joining me today.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
You know, I am really excited to dive into this case. It's very, very interesting, very mysterious, you know, lots of that mystery feel.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Like you said, the Zodiac killer is one of the most infamous cases, and it's still unsolved till this day.
All right, so, you know, we got to start off somewhere. Let's start by discussing the background of the Zodiac killer for, you know, our students and listeners that, you know, may not be familiar with him.
Yeah. The Zodiac killer was a serial killer who was out of Northern California. He really terrorized the place, like, bad in the late 1960s and the early 70s. He has confirmed that he killed 7 people, but he said he killed over 30, but we don't know how true that is because they never got found or anything. And 2 of his victims did survive, and they did give a rough description of him.
Yeah, like Corey said, they gave a description of him. They said he was about 30 years old, about 5'8", 200 pounds, and he had, like, curly hair.
You know, that's just a very, like, average looking dude. You know, there's nothing special about him. You know, he's a little heavy set, 5'8", 200's a little, you know, it's rough. Maybe you need to hit the gym, buddy.
Yeah.
Get some cardio in. But, you know, maybe that's why they never caught him. He really never had any outstanding features, like no scars or eye patches or, like, peg legs, anything crazy. So that's, you know, maybe he blended in well.
Yeah. His string of murders were over a course of 1968 to 1970. He mostly went after couples, too. On December 2nd, 1968, on Lake Herman Road, David Faraday and Betty Jansen were shot to death. A year later, on July 4th, Michael Mageau and Darlene Ferrin were also shot. 2 months later, on September 27th, Brian Hartwell and Cecilia Shepard were stabbed. Another month later, Paul Steyer was shot in the Preside Heights neighborhood.
So, you know, it seems like he really had a thing for couples.
Yeah. Maybe he was just kind of, like, jealous. Because, like, maybe he couldn't get a girlfriend.
He couldn't get any girls, man. He was having a tough time.
Zero bitches.
You know, he started taking it out on people, started killing them.
Man. So, what he was really mostly known for was he would send cryptograms to the police and the news people to, like, kind of, like, play with their mind and mess with them.
Yeah, you know, these cryptograms, he would send them in after all of his killings, and, you know, he would threaten the news people and the police, too, that if they didn't, you know, publish his letters and his cryptograms, that he would kill many more people. And a couple of times, he even sent schematics of bombs he was going to make and other, like, you know, things we threatened the police with if they didn't, you know, publish his letters. And that really is the most interesting aspect that separates this from a normal serial killer's case, you know, the way he just sent these cryptic messages to, you know, the news and everyone. So, Zion, could you tell us some more about this?
Sure thing. The Zodiac killer sent 4 cryptograms along with his murders to the media. Only one of them has been completely solved. It reads, "I like killing people because it's so much fun. It is more fun than killing game in the forest. To kill someone gives me the most thrilling experience. It's better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part about it is when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and all that I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you will try to stop me from collecting my slaves for the afterlife."
You know, it seems this guy, he was, like, he was not mentally stable, you know.
Not at all.
He's a wacko, he's a nut job.
He was a very weird man.
You know, he's talking about paradise and, like, his slaves, and he's obviously not afraid of death, you know. He's not afraid of the death penalty at the time in California was the gas chamber, and he states how he's not afraid of the gas chamber. He doesn't care, you know. He believes he's killed enough people. He's collected enough people to work for him in the afterlife, so he really has no fear at this point, which could really make someone dangerous, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to no type of paradise.
Man.
Yeah, I don't think so. You
And, you know, there was a third letter, but to this day, code breakers from all around the world, experts, they just can't crack it. It's it's just too complex, and we'll never really know what it says.
It also might be the possibility that there might not be a meaning to it. He might just did it to throw us off.
Yeah, it could just be a fake letter.
It's kind of fascinating to think that there may be clues in that last cryptogram that may lead to the killer's identity that nobody has ever really found because it hasn't been solved yet.
And let's not forget the Zodiac Killer himself provided a description of his appearance in one of his letters and claimed to wear a disguise.
Yeah, he was described as having like a sort of executioner's like costume. He had the black hood, and he always drew these insignias wherever he went with his killings. He had it was like how a gun sight would look, like a circle with a crosshair.
Yeah.
And in the killing of Michael Mogu and Darlene Ferrin, he actually wrote on their car and kind of described how he killed them. He vandalized their car, and he was just he thought of himself as like an executioner, and you think with all these clues and evidence that he would have been caught, but why do you guys think he was never caught?
I think it's because he really never left anything behind to trace him. Like, he covered up all of his tracks.
Yeah, I know he really didn't really leave any DNA, any hair, fingernails, anything like that.
He played it out really smart.
Mm-hmm.
He probably never mind. He definitely had it planned out.
Exactly. He was definitely a very smart killer. He didn't really take big risks.
Yeah.
And the fact is that he communicated with the media, and that only adds to the mystery. It seemed that he was always one step ahead of law enforcement and people looking for him. And I feel like he just really enjoyed the chase, or the adrenaline rush of killing people and almost trying to help him get caught. Maybe he wanted to get caught.
Yeah, but there was an article, and he was in the military before.
Yeah, there was a chance that he had
So yeah, maybe he had some experience with weapons and killing.
Because he the military training he went through, he worked with codes and everything.
Yeah.
But that's
and people, serial killers normally don't stop killing until they're caught, because it's kind of an addiction. But he just abruptly stopped after the year 1970, and he never killed again. And maybe it's because he got married or found someone in his life or something that was worth more than killing to him, and that could really be a big factor too, because the trail went cold and he just stopped killing all of a sudden.
Yeah, maybe he had a kid that he wanted to live for.
Yeah, children, a family, something like that. And we're wrapping up with the episode. We got a couple minutes left, and so we're just gonna talk about some facts and our thoughts, about the case.
Yeah. So, I think I just find it kind of unsettling that they never got him, and there was never justice served or anything.
Yeah, I know. People could have just been walking by him on the street like he was a normal dude, or getting food somewhere. It could be a very slim chance, but we could have ran into him around here. You never know, just walking by him.
You never really know. It's a small world.
And the fact that the Zodiac Killer... And it's a reminder that even the most notorious cases could go unsolved. We may never know the identity of them.
Exactly. They thought he was a couple of other famous killers as well, like Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, these very famous people who killed lots of people.
Yeah, but Charles Manson, he did get convicted for seven murders. It was.
He did get convicted for 7 murders. And the fact is he claimed over 30, which is an insane amount of kills, honestly. If you think about it,
it's kind of crazy how the police never found the other
exactly. They never thought to investigate. And, I feel like another part that really didn't help was at that time, the police departments never helped each other in different precincts. So there was beef, or they wouldn't help each other, which you really need cooperation on a big case.
Maybe they were just trying to get the fame of catching him.
Yeah, they were competing to catch him first, and in the end it backfired. They never did catch him. And recently in 2020, there was a man who they believed to be the Zodiac Killer, but he was already passed away. They thought to have found him. Son, could you look up who that is real quick for us?
Yeah, I got you.
And they thought that this guy was the Zodiac Killer, but he died, so we will really never know who the Zodiac Killer ever was, because we will never have a confession.
Yeah, it was Zodiac killer, what would believe to be, he was.
1 second, he's looking it up real quick. You know, there's some suspects of him, like Lawrence Kane. As he worked with some of the victims.
The believed to be killer was Gary Francis Post.
Yeah, that's who it was, Gary Francis Post. But you see, Gary Francis Post has passed away, so we'll never know. But thank you guys for tuning into our podcast. That's all. You guys have a great day.